It is the Andrew Merle Show. Hello, friends. How are you? And we're talking taxes. Nothing says sexy like taxes. I know. The first thing out of my mouth when somebody says the word tax, the next thing that follows is I say no. If I use two words, it's hell no. But in this one case, I'm going to say taxes good, tax okay. And that's the St. George tax coming up on December 7th on your ballot. If you live in the city of St. George, you will be allowed to vote to take your taxes back, to take them home. So up until April 26, 2024, EBR Parish was allowed and authorized to collect that 2% sales tax. This is a sales tax dollars generally associated, you've heard about it during litigation. This is what has generally been agreed would fund most of our general services in St. George. So we're talking, this will be the money that takes care of the drainage. This will be the money that takes care of roadways. This will be the money that mows the lawns and grass and common areas. This is what's going to make our city beautiful. This is what's going to make our city modern, world class, and move us forward. These are the dollars that we're going to use to improve your roads. So, very important. It's not a new tax. It's simply taking it from the parish and bringing it home to St. George. That's what it does. And it's as very simple as that. It's the same tax dollars that we've talked about for a long time now. It's a little in excess of 48 million. It's sales tax. It's not a property tax. This will not affect your property tax. In fact, it's not going to affect your sales tax because you're still paying it now. Even though EBR Parish is illegally collecting it, they are still collecting it and you are still currently paying it now. It's just going to change the name to St. George, which means it's bringing it home to you for your services. What we've talked about before is historically, some of your 2% sales tax have gone to provide services in the city of Baton Rouge that you in St. George did not and could not access in the city of St. George. We subsidized portions of the city of Baton Rouge with your tax dollars. That will stop if you vote yes on December 7th. It will come home. It will be accountable to you. It will be your roadways, your drainage, your projects, your programs in St. George. So when you have an issue, you either don't like something, you can call and complain to your representative about it. If you do like something, you can tell the representative, I want more of that. You can be a part of the process of coming up with solutions in St. George to use your 2% sales tax dollars. So in the end, this is a very important election. And I understand the general election was super important. There was a president's race on it. The mayor president for the parish was on it. Super important ballot. 60% of you turned out and voted. And in runoff elections, historically, turnout has been about 10%. 10%. That's nothing. 10% who have an overwhelmingly huge say in what 100% of the parish does in the future. I mean, think about that. Dictated by 10% or less. So what I'm saying is, I know you voted in the primary. I'm asking you to get out one more time, December 7th. You have some opportunities to early vote starting on the 22nd of November. There'll be 3 days that are off for holidays, for Thanksgiving, that you cannot early vote, but you do have some opportunities to get in the next week and a half and have your say. And if not, show up with me December 7th and vote. You know, for us and our family, it's a family tradition. My girls go with me to vote every single election. One goes with mom, one goes with dad, and we go vote. They see the process. They ask questions. We talk about things on the ballot. They want to know how it works. They want to be a part of the process, and that's how you start. So it maybe can become a family tradition. There's not going to be long lines on December 7th. Again, I told you only 10% shows up. But what I'm saying is, if 60% of us in St. George show up, we're going to pass that tax proposition, and your tax dollars are coming home. If you show up at 60% on the runoff election on December 7th, you can change who is the mayor president for East Baton Rouge Parish. That's that simple. One of my biggest problems in EBR Parish is apathy. And I know apathy is everywhere. I'm not a fool. I don't think that apathy is a rare, unique trait just to EBR Parish, but I can tell you there's two things that are holding EBR Parish back. One is stupidity. I can't fix that, although a separate school system might help turn the tide. And I can't fix stupid right now, but I can fix apathy, because apathy means waking up and doing something about it that day. Get in there, go to your polling location. If you're early voting, it's easy. St. Georgians, you can always hit the Archives building off Essen, or you go December 7th to your regular polling location. There won't be long lines. You can get in and out. There's only a handful of things in the ballot: the St. George tax proposition, mayor president for EBR Parish, and 4 constitutional amendments. You'll have to figure out what those mean later. That's it. So not a lot of heavy lifting. I'm just asking you to go one more time. Think about it this way in St. George. This struggle lasted 14 years. You were asked to show up for Saturdays, Sundays, random days, knock on doors, sign ballots, sign wave. You had to go vote. Then you had to fight a 4-year legal battle to get to this point where you could do the one final thing to take the tax dollars home so St. George can move forward as a city in the future. So this is your chance to do it. December 7th, go vote, make a difference, change the course, not just for St. George, but this will change the course for the entire parish moving forward. I know this because I've seen what successful suburbs have done around the country for the major cities they surround. For every Austin, there's a Round Rock. For every Nashville, there's a Brentwood. There's 21 school districts in Hamilton County, which is where Cincinnati is. All of these are things that can change the course and direction for what we consider, by and large, successful areas of our country. And we can be a part of that in St. George, December 7th, by transferring that tax from EBR Parish to the city of St. George for you, to you. It's that easy, that simple. So I would urge you, get out and vote. Better yet, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, take them with you. Get to the polls and let's vote. Now, there's something else on that ballot. Mayor President runoff. Sharon Weston Broome vying for a 3rd term in office, another 4 years of that. Or something a little different, Coach Sid Edwards. Not a politician by any stretch, an outsider, admittedly. Wants to do something different. Finally decided he got off his apathy. I mean, I don't think he'll even be the first to tell you. No one was more apathetic about politics than Coach Sid Edwards. But a man that, to a T, if you ask anyone who's ever met him or been around him for any length of time, they will tell you he's a good man, honorable man, and most importantly, he has truly cared about the kids that he has influenced, the kids he has coached, regardless of income, regardless of race, regardless of situation. He has cared for them and tried to make them better men, football coach. He's done his job at every level, at every place he's been in that capacity. And now he wants to take a shot at being mayor president, which on the surface, if you're taking a 30,000 foot look at this, you're like, no way. But then you think about it. We've done politics as usual. We've done apathy. And what has that gotten us in the last 8 years? In the last 8 years, we've had the highest crime rate in EBR Parish history. In the last 8 years, we've had the largest budgets, over $1 billion, that we've ever had in EBR Parish history. We've got the largest government in EBR Parish history, on par with what Detroit was before Detroit filed bankruptcy. So high crime. We have one of the worst performing education systems in a country, in a state that's one of the worst in a country. So failing education. We have a declining population in our parish while our neighbors in surrounding parishes are booming because people can't leave EBR Parish fast enough. That is what we've been doing the last 8 years. So if you're apathetic, thinking, well, it's politics as usual, it's Baton Rouge, it's Louisiana, this is how things are done, or my vote doesn't matter, or I can't do anything, I can't change anything, damn it, get up. No more apathy. Get up and make a difference. Go vote. I'm telling you now, voting for Coach Sid Edwards can't be worse than what we're doing now. At least he's going to have an open mind to different solutions. At least he appears to want solutions. At least he's offering solutions. We've had 8 years. Sharon Broome's track record is there. She can say whatever she wants. She can tell me how her agenda in the next 4 years is going to magically improve EBR Parish. But her 8-year track record tells me she is a failure. It is time to do something different. This is the mayor president who sued her own citizens after they lawfully voted for something. Sued us. And when she talks about exposing the parish to all the millions and millions of dollars of liability that may be owed to the city of St. George, she's the one that exposed us to the liability because she sued us. She held us up for that time period where we should have been moving forward as the city of St. George. Because she held us up, she prevented us from getting those tax dollars we were lawfully entitled to. She stalled this process for 4 years, and this is where we pay the piper. This is the bed she made. So do we need 4 more years of obstruction? Do we need 4 more years of failure? Do we need to continue down the path of all these failings that we have in our parish? Are you happy with the crime? No. People getting gunned down outside the mall. Murder rate highest it's ever been. Are you happy with education in this parish? No, it's a failure. Are you happy with the roadways in this parish? No, they're abysmal. Are you happy with the drainage in this parish? $80 million in projects that have not been done that are supposed to be done. Drainage backlog. Don't believe me? Look at the St. George trial transcript and look at the testimony given. $80 million drainage backlog. That is what we're looking at with 8 years of failure. I don't care if Fred Flintstone was running for mayor president. I would consider it at this point because it can't be any worse. I'll take a guy with a coaching mentality because his mindset's going to be put good people in good places that win. And Sid will tell you, as a coach, his goal is to grow young men, make them better men, and win. His 2 objectives. And if he's not accountable, he loses a job. If he's not accountable, his kids don't graduate. If he's not accountable, in fact, his kids go on to commit crimes because they don't get the education and the support they were supposed to get. So if he's not successful, he has to be accountable. If he takes that mentality to city parish government, hey, you know what? I need to put the best people in place to get these problems solved. And as a coach, he's got to identify these problems, right? Look, we've watched LSU fail for the last 3 weeks, right? And armchair quarterbacks, we've got a million different excuses or reasons why LSU's not winning football games. Well, he's going to apply that same mentality to city parish government. What is our problem? Crime. What is our solution? Could it be more officers, higher pay to attract better candidates for officers? Could it be modern policing, 21st century policing? Could it be more cameras? Could it be, he's going to look at solutions that actually make sense and put them in place. He's going to look at projects that matter from infrastructure and drainage and roadways, because those are things that improve quality of life. Those are things that improve our viewpoint and perception of our parish. Those are things you can sell for businesses who might want to leave here. You know, ironically, EBR Parish has been a wonderful place to start a business. EBR Parish has been a wonderful place to start a potential Fortune 500 company. You know what the problem is? Baton Rouge has been a terrible place to keep a potential Fortune 500 company for all the reasons I've enumerated already. They leave over and over and over again. They go to Dallas. They go to Atlanta. They go to North Carolina. They go all over the place. They just don't stay here. So if we want to keep our people here and our population's declining in this parish, all your friends and family who still live in Louisiana, live in Livingston and Ascension, tell me I'm wrong. If you want to keep them here, you want to bring them back, give them a reason. Give them something different. You know, I say this a lot. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Welcome to EBR Parish. We've had 8 years of insanity. Let's vote for a different result. December 7th, you can do that by voting for Coach Sid Edwards. And let's do something different. And then, of course, as I'll tell you over and over again, vote yes for the City of St. George tax. It replaces the EBR Parish tax. It transfers that authority from EBR Parish to the City of St. George. It's your tax dollars for your home. I couldn't say it any simpler than that. So I'm going to end with something completely un-St. George related. I know, surprise. I didn't know I could do that either. If you do have St. George questions, you can always find me, Andrew at andrewmurrell.com or drew.murrell, Murrell, at stgeorgela.net. A couple of different ways to find me. I will tell you, though, the Department of Treasury, this is the federal Department of Treasury. I'm getting out of EBR Parish. I'm getting out of Louisiana. I'm going national. The Department of Treasury has a beneficial ownership information requirement. It's almost like they don't want us to know it's in existence because, I mean, you barely hear anything about it, but it's a requirement for limited liability companies to register their ownership interest. Who owns these LLCs? Who are the members? The federal government would like to know, and yes, probably to track you for financial crime purposes. So you have until the end of this year to register your LLC, the ownership of it, with fincen.gov. So the Financial Center of the Department of Treasury. You'll see Beneficial Ownership Information Report. You'll file that report. It takes, I'll say, less than 10 minutes. I can probably do it in 5 if I have all the info in front of me. It took me about 5 to register my law firm. But there's some accepted businesses that aren't included. Chances are it's not one of yours. This is targeted at us. Register your small business. For mom and pop, it's something you probably haven't heard about. But let me tell you why it's important. Do I think you should have to register with the federal government? Absolutely not. I don't think it's their purview. I think it's broad government overreach. I'm not even sure this is going to survive after January of 2025 as we change administrations. But the due date is the end of 2024, and the fines are $595 a day up to $100,000. So yes, while I can tell you all the reasons why I don't believe in it, all the reasons I think it's wrong, I'm not going to risk it over a potential $100,000 fine on my limited liability companies. And if you have several, I do. You have to go on and register each one and the ownership of each. Again, I assume they're looking for terrorists. I assume they're looking for tax cheats and tax evaders. There's not much I can do about it. This law is going to affect 99.9% of the population that it's not targeting. But again, it's there, it's in place. So it's fincen.gov, and you go to beneficial ownership information, fill out the report. Doesn't take long. You'll need your tax ID number for your business. You'll need your ownership information from your business. And what I do think is very obtrusive, you'll also need to take a photo and upload it of your driver's license so they can verify you are you. So I don't know who's looking at it, and they don't tell me. It's above my pay grade, but I'm not going to risk a $100,000 fine. If you want more info about that, you want the link to the page, you want to know how to fill out the report, you just want me to check your work, fine. You can email me, andrew@andrewmerle.com. So I've told you a lot today. I want to recap. I think it's that important. We've been apathetic for too long in this parish. It's time for us to make some changes. We've had 8 years of this regime. I know you don't support it. I know most people don't support it. You know how I know? 70% said, let's choose somebody else to run our parish. That's how I know that there's a chat problem and we need a change. And you can do that December 7th by voting for Coach Sid Edwards for mayor president. And then finally, you got to vote yes for the St. George tax proposition. No matter what you hear, the misinformation is out there. Our opposition would rather see us bankrupt than succeed, even though I tell you, our success will ultimately be EBR Parish's success. As we keep more people here, we keep more money in the parish, it's going to help everyone. And our opposition would rather burn it all down, which is bizarre. You'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. Well, not me. I'd rather go to heaven. And I think there's a better possibility of that with the city of St. George having the 2% sales tax than without it. If you want your grass mowed, you want the lawns mowed, you want the drainage ditches cleared out and improved, you want your roadways improved, you want to cover up those potholes, you want to improve our way of life and show the rest of this parish what is possible when you do things the right way, then vote yes for the 2% sales tax proposition. And if you hate St. George, vote yes for the 2% sales tax proposition because it's your tax dollars going to your home, your projects that you can have a direct say in. You want to oppose us, show up to meetings and do it there. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. So vote yes, 2% sales tax proposition. If you're listening to this podcast immediately, well, early voting starts in a couple of days. You can find a list online in the Go Vote app. We'll tell you where to go, but the Archives building off Essen is a great place to go. Early vote. There'll be 3 days where it's closed for Thanksgiving holidays. And then if you're not early voting, join me at the polls on December 7th. Let's vote in favor of the 2% sales tax proposition. And let's have St. George off and running in 2025 with your tax dollars, your solutions for your city. This has been Andrew Merle. You can reach me at Andrew Merle, Andrew at andrewmerle.com. It is The Andrew Merle Show.